question was about SMS to email. And the issue is that only the email address that the SMS is assigned to can reply. And so if the SMS is being copied to multiple people, only the person that's using that email address that it's assigned to can reply. And that's by design. The way to fix that, or the way it's designed, is that you have to reply. If, for example, you're sending an SMS message to sales@mycompany.com, you have to reply from sales@mycompany.com in order for it to go through. We figured this was a good thing from a usability standpoint, because if you're copying an SMS to 100 people, if all 100 people start replying, it could get ugly. So, you know, you have to, the people who you want to be able to reply have to be able to respond from that same email address. Now, setting this up, and maybe not intuitive, but it's very easy. It depends on the kind of mail client that you're using. So, for example, in Gmail, it's very easy to, there's a setting that says reply from the same email address that it was sent to. Same kind of setting in Outlook. We have a new guy doing our tech writing for us. His name is David, and he's working on how-to articles for the most popular email clients. It will change depending on the type of email client that you're using, but in general, it's not a difficult thing to do, which is to reply to the email address that was used to reach you. So I hope that answers the question. If not, please post a follow-up. The second question.
I wanted to step in real quick, Eric.
Sure.
If you have questions, please type them into the questions box, type them into the question widget. We're here to answer all your questions, okay? Thank you.
Okay, the second question was about when you send an MMS message, there's, without an image, there's a no image that we put in there, which is like a little camera with a line through it. And the question was, can we get rid of that because it seems unprofessional? And my answer was that the reason we put it there was because carriers were blocking the MMS message if we didn't put that no image there. We're still learning the ins and outs of delivering MMS messages to the carriers. The problem is they all have their own spam rules, and they won't tell you what the spam rules are, so you sort of have to guess. In the past, we had been sending all of our outbound SMS and MMS messages through Intelliquent, which is one of our carriers. But the SMS business is not their focus, and when we would open a ticket asking questions, we would often not get any answer at all, or if we did get an answer, it would be, you know, we don't provide that kind of support. So what we've done over the past 6 weeks is we've been testing out other carriers that specialize in SMS and MMS, and we're finding that the support is a lot better. So we have to rewrite the API to use those carriers instead of Intelliquent, and we're doing that. So we're expecting that the MMS delivery and just SMS delivery in general will be a lot better starting in January, and hopefully, if there's a way to send MMS messages without that no image, we'll do it. But of course, if that's the only way to get the message through, then we have no choice but then to do that also.
Okay. All right. So we got another question here from Bob. It's are there plans to get a mass text feature? For example, I have 3 users that need to be able to see and respond to a message thread. To kind of answer that.
3 users that. So I think that the question is a group. That question sounds like it could be 2 different things. Yeah. A group texting or group chat in general is not currently supported. If you send a message to multiple people and they all reply, it's going to come back to you as 3 separate replies if there were 3 separate people in that thread. This is something that the carriers do, obviously, on iOS and Android, so it's something that customers expect. Unfortunately, it's not an easy problem to solve. We're working on it, but as of today, we don't have a solution for that group chat kind of experience. We've actually tried a few different options to make it work, and nothing has really panned out. but we realize it's important, and it's near the top of the list right after getting the messages delivered. So I think that was the question. If not, please follow up.
Okay, sounds good. I want to go back to some of these directory bot questions too. Will down the road, will we be able to add multiple files such as JPEGs or PDFs under one keyword as long as it is under 10 megabytes?
Okay, so the limit for MMS messages that we're finding is 2 megabytes. And what we have to do is if the image that's uploaded is more than 2, we have to compress it down to be under 2. That's one of the things we've learned about delivering. Some carriers just won't accept it if it's more than 2. I don't think that there's going to be a situation where you can send multiple images in one message. I mean, if you think about your cell phone, you can't do that today with your cell phone, and we're following the same principles as the cell phone. We're trying to make the experience as close to the cell phone experience as possible.
Okay. What happens when a customer entitled for 10 keywords goes into their SMS portal and tries to add an 11th keyword?
They'll get an error message. It'll just say you're subscribed to 10 keywords, and it won't let them save the 11th one.
Gotcha. Okay.
At least that's the way it's supposed to work.
Let us know if it doesn't, right? Contact your service provider, right? Okay. In the SMS portal, will we be able to send a message to multiple recipients at once in the SMS portal under send SMS?
Okay. If when you're referring to like a portal, please specify which portal, because there are several now. In the SMS responder portal, you can put in multiple recipients. There's that send SMS tab, and if you use that tab, you can put in multiple recipients, and it will send that message to the multiple recipients. And that's the same with the Reach UC interface. You can send to multiple recipients. The problem again is if they all reply, it's going to come back as multiple messages and not be in the same session or thread. Now we do have another interface that some of you have access to. It's very early beta, which is our SMS broadcasting interface. And for SMS broadcasting, by definition, what you do is you define a group. For anybody who's using our voice broadcasting, it's the same interface. You have a group of recipients, and you can send a message to that group. Now, the reason we haven't officially launched the SMS broadcasting is, again, the delivery problems we have. We find that when we send multiple messages to multiple parties, they sometimes get blocked by the carriers. So again, this is something that we're looking to fix with the new carriers that we're using, and hopefully change our delivery practices to conform with what the carriers are expecting. But I think I answered that question. If not, please follow up.
Okay. Is there any way for resellers to troubleshoot their SMS features behind viewing the history section or beside viewing the history section on the SMS portal? Is there any way that they can troubleshoot what's going on for themselves?
Unfortunately not. There's a couple things we're working on that might help. One is sort of like a SMS logs that you'll be able to view. It's similar to SIP logs, and all they're going to be is showing you the response that we got back from the carrier when we sent the message. Part of that is this new carrier. One of the new carriers that we're using has delivery receipts. So if we get a delivery receipt on a particular message, which is just the fact that the carrier said, okay, this was delivered, then you'll be able to see that delivery receipt. But as of today, the history is all we've got.
Okay. The next question was, what is the pricing for 50 keywords? So I think we went over the pricing before, and it's broken into 20, 50, and unlimited keywords. So if I were to go in there and look at it real quick.
There's definitely some confusion. I think we caused the confusion, Jason, because what's in the portal is different than what we announced at Vectors. And so obviously that's confusing.
Yeah. So
there's confusion. Really, for us, we want to encourage adoption. For us, it's not about generating revenue on this, and I know you need to know what it costs to be able to sell it. We just want you to be able to sell it though, and we're going to make the price right so that it sells in the market. And honestly, we don't know what the right price is. So as I've said in the past, if we've quoted you a price, we're going to stick to that price for you going forward on those customers. Our pricing might change for future customers that you sign on, but for anybody that you've signed on up until now, we're definitely going to honor whatever pricing we give you. And yes, I know that the pricing may have been inconsistent or changed. You'll get the benefit of the doubt in those cases. Yep. That said, I believe our pricing, the way it's supposed to be, is 10, 20, and unlimited keywords.
Correct. It is actually, it's 20, 50, and unlimited keywords. It's okay. $10. It's $10 for 20. It is $20 for 50, and then unlimited at 51 and above, it's $30 per month per domain.
Okay. So I apologize. I have not been focusing on the pricing part of it.
Right. So that is, you're going to find this pricing. If you wish to activate SMS, just put a request into me, and I'll point you to the add-on service request form. And in that form, you'll just go through and add it on, and it comes in, and the operations team will take care of it. And that pricing is listed in there. We thought we made it even better. So, and look, everybody that's coming in and during this beta phase, you're going to be grandfathered into that pricing and that special pricing. So, we take care of you guys, and we're going to continue to do so. All right. So the next question I have, and we got a lot of questions queuing up here. When will we be able to do appointment reminders?
Okay, so this is probably the single most asked about feature. It seems it comes up every day, at least once. The short answer is we don't have any plans to do appointment reminders. And the reason is because in order to remind somebody of their appointment, you have to have access to the system that does the scheduling. So, and that's different for appointment reminders are very popular for doctors and dentists and people in the healthcare field. In order to know when those appointments are, you have to have access into their systems so that you can, obviously this would be an automatic thing where you find the appointment and you send a text message. Generally, that's a feature of the CRM. So I know systems that from friends who are in the medical field, and their CRM system allows them to send the appointment reminders by SMS. Unfortunately, that's not something we can do without some integration work with that system. Now, are we open to integrating? Of course, if there's a business case, we would definitely consider it and do that development work. But without some development, there's just no way for us to get access to those schedules. Now, that said, the SMS broadcasting system that I mentioned a few minutes ago, you can schedule mass SMS messages. So you could say, I want to send an SMS message to this group at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and it will follow that schedule. But that's not appointment reminders in the way we're thinking of them, or that are generally used, because again, it's not telling a specific person that they have a specific appointment at this time.
Yeah, we had a couple questions that were queued up that were referencing that broadcast SMS, and in doctors' offices and so forth. I think that's really the applicable vertical market there. Is there any plan to improve the overall aesthetics of the app, mobile and desktop? It's not terrible, but the app just has an old look to it, and the desktop app isn't very intuitive. So I think we're getting into a little bit of reach UC here.
Yeah, okay.
Like sending a new SMS through the desktop app should have just a clear icon for a new message. Would like to see something that looks something out of our competitive apps, like a Ring Central, for example. By the way, new partner, and I really love what you guys are doing. Been a wonderful experiment so far, John and Dave. Thank you, John. Thanks, Dave.
Um, uh, so we've been focusing mostly on the usability of the applications and just getting the basic features, especially around SMS and MMS to work. We are concerned about the look and feel, of course, and want it to be modern and appealing. That hasn't been very high on the list, but it will get there as we improve the other components of it. For the desktop version, which is really just a web page, it's a WebRTC app. If you go to webrtc.reachuc.com, you'll load the web app. If you're loading the desktop app, it's really just a web page inside a frame that's that's installed natively on Windows or Mac. And yes, we can improve the look and of all of them. But again, I wish we had the resources of a Ring Central. Unfortunately, we don't. And so we're tackling the more basic features first.
Okay, there were some similar questions that were asked kind of around the same topic, but I think one of the topics that's really prevalent out there too, that we hear a lot on, from the sales department and the sales team, is when we have some SMS integrated into like a group messaging, like a Rocket Chat or something like a Slack or something like that that can bounce around in our office.
Yeah. Okay. So again, that's the group chat is high on our list. We sort of had to go back and tackle this deliverability issue because again, unless the messages can be delivered reliably with a delivery receipt when possible, the app isn't worth very much. But group chat is high after our next release, again, which will use the new carriers for SMS and MMS delivery. We plan to revisit the group chat issue. So that is probably the next highest priority item on the list, is having a group chat solution. Will it be Rocket Chat? I don't know the answer to that yet. We've run into some issues with Rocket Chat just in terms of their pricing model. Obviously, we want something that works for you in terms of pricing. The people who are beta testing Rocket Chat, you've all had to install your own Rocket Chat server and manage and maintain that. Our goal is to not have you have to do that and to be able to provide that to you in a turnkey fashion. And some things about the Rocket Chat relationship just have prevented that from happening. That said, again, it's important, and we will come up with a solution, be it Rocket Chat or something else. Slack is also high on the list, so we will probably do a Slack integration regardless of anything else. But the first priority will be just having a group chat solution that you can sell and manage.
Okay. Sounds good. Is there going to be any limitations to the maximum amount of recipients that you can send out in the SMS broadcast?
Yes, there probably will be a limit. Again, we're working with the same rules that the other vendors in this space are working with, and there are best practices. I'm not sure what that limit will be today. And it may just be that you have to segment it into multiple send times if you want to send to multiple lists. Maybe it'll just be you have to have sent to 3 lists instead of 1. I don't know. We want to make this as user friendly as possible. The issue that we're running up against is the spam control filters from the carriers. So it's always a balancing and sort of a puzzle to figure out, okay, what are the carriers going to allow?
Okay, good. Thank you. When will this SMS log be available?
That is probably lower on the priority list than the features. We realize it's important in terms of letting you support the product. I don't have a specific date. If I had to just pick a date, I'd probably say closer to the middle of next year. We keep all that information now. We have all the logs, and if you really needed them, we could go get them for you. But they're just not exposed in a way that you can access them. And so our job is to expose them in a way that makes sense in the portal. And this plays into sort of, with all the interfaces that we're having, we're having a little bit of an interface glut. So we're trying to think of ways to make just the general management of the system a little easier and giving you the logs as part of an existing interface as opposed to a brand new one.
Okay, we had a few more pricing questions coming in and some disparity on some of those. So again, it's set at 20, 50, and unlimited. I know the portal says 10, and entitlements actually says 10 too. So we'll make it a point to go in and make those modifications for you. We just thought 10 keywords wasn't going to be enough for you. Give your customers a little extra sizzle, give them a little extra bulk. Once they get into it, they're going to love it. Maybe you can sell it for more money, generate a little bit more revenue. So we thought that might be a better price point by comparison to some other competitive systems that are out there. Okay, can we integrate the SMS system to an IFTTT or ZAP?
Yes, the answer is so. Inbound text messages can be delivered to a URL. That's one of the options in the portal. And so I actually made a video that shows how to take an inbound message and log it to a Google spreadsheet using a Zap and Zapier. So it's in our YouTube channel. If you go to the YouTube channel, you'll see that video, and that shows it going to a Google spreadsheet, but it could easily go somewhere else. It could go to your CRM, or it could go to anything else that Zap or IFTTT supports.
Next question was from Ian. Can you elaborate a little more on the SMS broadcasting? What can you tell us? I mean, we've spoken a lot about it. It's up and coming. Can you elaborate a little bit more of what we could elaborate on? Is there any specifics there, Ian, that you would like to know?
I can just describe it again. Basically, So we have a system called Voice Broadcast today that's available to you, and the same. So the way Voice Broadcast works is you can give a screen to your customer where they can upload groups, contacts, and you can basically dial those contacts and play messages, audio messages. We're using that same interface for SMS, so the same groups that you have for the dialing can be used to send SMS messages. Basically, you compose a message, you schedule it for a certain time that you want it to be sent out, and you tell the system which group you want it sent to. And then at that time, it will send the message to that group. Pretty simple. The idea is the use case is that you can use this SMS broadcasting system to send messages to a lot of people. And when they reply, they get the bot, right? So the responder bot can then handle some of the responses that come in. Anyway, that's the idea, and we're eager to launch it. Again, what has held us back is the deliverability problems we've run into, and just the fact that we're learning what it takes to deliver a lot of SMS messages.
Okay. Can Eric be calling you out here? Can Eric be a little bit more specific on whether or not the ReachUC app and the WebRTC web screen will get a facelift that looks a little bit more exciting? It would sure help sell mostly unknown, understood service. Not that many people have complained. I mean, some people definitely complain that about the looks of ReachUC and WebRTC, but it doesn't come up that often. So, we look at you to tell us if you really feel that that's more important than some of the other things that I've talked about. Let us know, and we'll rearrange our priorities. But
really, for me anyway, it's about getting the work, the functionality and the workability done first, and then coming back to revisit the look and feel.
Yep, sounds good. Yeah, because if we're not seeing a lot of requests or complaints or about those particular issues and about aesthetics, so to speak, then we don't know. So the squeaky wheel tends to get the grease around here, but not always. I can't guarantee that. It depends on what the squeak is, right? So we got one more question that just popped in here from John. I'll plus one that would like something that looks better and is easier to use. Okay. And Bill Smith says, I think we're so excited to get this ability. Now that we have it, we'd like to see a prettier version. Laugh out loud. Thanks, guys. You rock. Okay. Well, we continue to rock and roll, not playing all the oldies they want to hear. So,
so in terms of the usability, and I mean, look and feel and usability are related, but they're different things. So send an example of something that you think you'd like it to look like. We want to create a product that's exciting and that is exciting for your customers, and we'll sell. Obviously, that's our goal in all of this. So give us some examples. In terms of usability, please be a little more specific, about which parts are not unusable. I realize that in WebRTC, sending an SMS message is not intuitive because you have to click on that magnifying glass to get it started. And we will fix that. And when I say we, actually that app is created by Acrobits, our partner. We just did the integration with the PBX. So it's a matter of us going to Acrobits and making it a priority for them. And there are, frankly, other priorities like group chat as opposed to fixing the usability. We can't tackle them all at once. But again, we want to respond to your needs, and so just let us know, be a little more specific about how you'd like it to work.
Okay, hey, I just want to let Kristen Hunt, let you know, yes, we are recording this, so don't worry. I know you came in late and you were doing some support things, but we got you taken care of. So we'll get this posted up into the Dash Managers for you guys to review. Who should they send these requests to? And I'm just thinking it should just be a general support ticket. Open up a support ticket as a request.
So what we do with all feature requests is we have a feature request queue. So when a ticket comes in with a request, it gets put into the feature request queue, and we review them periodically to try and put priorities on them. So that's the way to do it.
Okay, so we got another Reach UC question here for you. So we're gonna bounce over there. I'm using Reach UC for Android. For the text log, I can tap the message item and see an option to call or message the number. When I select an item from the Reach UC's call log, it immediately calls the number. Can this be changed to give the same option as with the text message log? Good question.
That is a good question. I think the way it's supposed to work is that you click that I in the call log, which will bring up the contact, and then you can just click the text from the contact. So that's 2 clicks instead of 1. We can raise that to this is certainly an Acrobits issue. We can raise that to them.
Okay.
I think the problem in general with that is that not everybody has text messaging enabled. So it would mean it complicates it a little bit, because if you only are allowing calling on the app, then you'd have to hide that text option from the call log. So that is probably the reason why it's not there. We'll look into what it would take to get that there.
Okay. You got something else to say, Eric?
I don't.
Okay. Can notifications for inbound keywords texted to be sent to multiple different emails?
Repeat that, please.
Can notifications from inbound keywords texted, can it be sent to multiple different emails?
Okay, so yes, so you can copy inbound messages to any number of recipients. Oh no, actually with the keyword responder bot, I'm confused. This has changed over the course of the product a couple times, so I apologize. The way it should work, and I don't know if this is there today, is that you should be able to send copies of an inbound SMS message that is assigned to the SMS bot. If that's not where it is today, I apologize, but it will be there, and that is something that we've identified as important.
Okay, for the next question here is for the mass user functionality. We were looking for the ability for all users to see incoming messages to a primary number. And when they send out a message, all users text through the primary number. And each user can see outbound messages other users have sent.
Okay, the way that is supported today is with an email. So again, you would send an inbound number to a general email like sales@mycompany.com, and anybody can reply by replying from sales@mycompany.com. That's really the especially when you get into a large number of users, it just seems like having a client, the email client that was designed for multiple and long messages or a long thread of messages is just an easier and better interface for doing that. So that is the answer for how that gets done.
Okay, so the next question we have here is, like some other new features SkySwitch rolls out, this seems slightly beta, which it is. That's a beautiful deduction.
The fact that MMS is beta and the SMS responder bot is also beta. We're working hard to iron out the kinks. We really are. That's also why we're not charging for it.
Yep. So they're saying, and thank you for giving it to us soon as it's functional, letting us try it out to make suggestions to improve it. So it was more of a kudos out to us that, hey, thanks for getting this stuff done, getting it out to us, giving us access. It's all cool. We love it. All right.
Getting a little defensive there.
I don't see any options when I click the I in the Reach UC call log.
You should be getting the contact when you click the I, unless there is no contact for that person. I'm just checking right now.
All right.
But yeah, in the call log, at least I'm on the iOS. If I have a contact for a number, there's an I, and that contact comes up.
All right. There's got one more just slipped in here real quick. Is there any plan to support short code SMS in the future?
So we can do short codes. The issue is that they're very expensive. Just to get set up with a short code is thousands of dollars, and so when you use a short code, you actually have to submit it to the carriers and they have to approve it. So it's a long process. So the way we like to do things is we want you to be able to configure everything yourself on the fly and start using it right away. This would really break that model in the sense that we'd have to submit an application for your short code and you have to tell them what you're going to use it for. Then it has to go to all the carriers. It's sort of like a committee. They approve it, comes back, and then you can do the short code. Frankly, we just didn't see that would be something that would work feasibly at a low scale unless somebody was willing to commit to a huge campaign with thousands of dollars at stake. That said, if there is a need, we're here to solve your problems, and we would certainly set that up and consider doing it. It's just, again, it's not a cheap thing to do, and it generally takes a multi, a huge brand with a national campaign to make it worthwhile.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, everybody's getting very inspired right now, so we have a lot of questions that are popping in here. So this is a pretty good question here. In our testing of the SMS responder, we have seen response lag of up to 1 to 2 minutes, especially upon our first send. You text the keyword lunch specials, and the response takes a minute or so. But if I send it again, the response is almost immediate. So it kind of he's what Carl is saying. It's kind of acting like it's in a sleeping mode on that first send.
Okay. So what happens is on the first send, we're actually trying to figure out who this caller is, and there's a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes. What we're looking to do is we're saying, is this caller somebody that you've talked to before, you being the recipient of the message? And if it is, the reason we do that is we send back a response that says, oh, it looks like you've been talking to Carl. Would you like to talk? You've been communicating with Carl. Would you like to talk to him? That's the responder, the SMS directory bot feature. So it's looking at the call logs to try and match calls. It's looking at the contacts to try and match contacts and give an intelligent response. So we do that the first time because we want to give the best option back. And this is rather new within the past week, you can now disable the directory bot feature of the system if you're using the SMS responder bot. So if you disable the directory bot feature, then that lag won't be there. And actually the lag is, I know it probably seems like 10 minutes, but it's only 30 seconds. So we give the system 30 seconds to find as much information as it can about the sender and if they've talked to anyone before. And if we can't find that information in 30 seconds, we just send back the default response. But if we can, then we try and send back a more intelligent response. But again, you can turn that off by disabling the directory feature in the responder bot. If you're finding that the response takes longer than 30 seconds, please open a ticket with details. It was sent at this time. The response didn't come to this time. Again, we have the logs. We go back, we can check the logs and see exactly what's happening. The design is for it to respond after 30 seconds.
Okay. Kristen had a question about what would be our recommended MSRP for the SMS service just out to email. So there's a lot of, I don't want to say it's controversy, but and what are our other partners charging for it? We really don't know, but I'll put this out there. If you want to send me what you think you'd like to sell it for, I'd be happy to compile information from everybody that responded to it, and then I'll put that together and then push it out to everybody and go, okay, this is what's happening in this part of the country, and this is what resellers are doing, and this is where they're going to set their pricing and why. What's real important is it's not, oh, I'm just going to sell at this price. Why do you think you're going to sell at that price? Who are you competing against on a local market that you feel that you need to come in and set your pricing at that level? So if you want to just send that information to me, I'll compile it over the next 3 weeks, a month, and then shoot it back out to everybody. And then we should see an average about, how people are selling it, why they're selling at that price point, and it should give you some insight on that.
The beauty the fact that these questions come up is actually the beauty of this. It's because there's not a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of times when you bring this to somebody, there's not going to be any other option. So it's about selling the value to them. What's it worth to the customer? How much time are they going to be able to save? How many more deals will they be able to close, or customers will they make happy? That's how I would price it. And that's why the services that are out there are really selling at a premium. Again, ZipWhip is the nearest competitor to what we have, and with ZipWhip, there's no integration with the PBX, but they're the nearest competitor. And for them, their entry level for unlimited keywords is $100. That's $100 a month for one keyword. For one phone number with unlimited keywords. It's a brand new market. We'd like to help. We welcome your feedback. We want to make it work for you, but realize that the fact that these questions are coming up, that's an opportunity. It's an opportunity because it's not out there. So it's up to you to make the market.
Right, exactly. And you know what? To get your feet wet, don't be afraid to go out there and bait it with a customer. I mean, if you've got 20 keywords at $10, you know, get out there, and the more you learn and the more that you develop your own best practices with it, you're going to formulate a sales methodology for yourself too. So don't be afraid to do those type of things and to experiment with the customer, because if the customer's not paying for it and you say, look, I'll run it with you for a month. I'll do 5 keywords with you. We'll test it out. We'll see what you think of it. And then let them get a taste of it, give them the pricing later, and you can start building that business. My Android gives contact info, but no obvious way to access option again. Clicking on the number just calls that number. My Android gives contact info, but no obvious way to access the option. Again, clicking on the number just calls that number. So I was thinking, is he talking about being able to SMS?
Yeah, SMS from the contact. Okay. I don't have an answer to that particular issue right now. We will look into it. Again, I think the reason it's like that is because many people offer the client without SMS features, and so just being able to know when to show the SMS feature and not show the SMS feature is a switch that's not there. But we'll definitely look into getting that added.
Okay. Here's a good question too. How do you port the SMS portion of a number? Do you need an LOA? Is there a special LOA to use? How do they go about doing that?
Today, the SMS, I've said this before, is like the Wild West. Anybody can port the SMS part of a number away without an LOA. That is sure to change in the future as you know, as these issues get come to the forefront. You know, a lot of people, almost every major company uses SMS for two-factor authentication, and so they say two-factor authentication is not safe. The reason it's not safe is because you can steal somebody's SMS from their phone and then basically get their two-factor authentication number when they, when you log into your bank and they send you a text message with a code. Somebody who ports your SMS number away from you will get that code, and then in theory could log into your bank, assuming they have your username and password also, of course. That's just the way the industry works today. Again, it can't continue that way. And when it changes, we'll change along with it. But as of today, there is no LOA required.
But that's not true for mobile carriers, right? The SMS is attached to that mobile DID, correct?
Oh, right. You can't port away from a mobile number. So if with a mobile carrier, any of the major carriers, you can't port the SMS part of the number away from them.
Okay. All right. So thanks, and keep up the great work. All right. Thank you very much for that. And I'm sure there are plenty of services marketed to the hearing impaired. Have you thought about marketing this service to organizations with hearing impaired staff? Interesting application.
Yeah, no, I hadn't come up yet. Again, there's such a broad general market and so many potential uses out there. We've really just begun to scratch the surface, but we'd love to work with you on opportunities. So if you have one that if it makes business sense, we'll certainly do it.
Yeah, and that goes back to why we have this channel and why we have you as our resellers out there. You're out there, you're the feet on the street. You know the pulse of what's happening in your local markets, and you're offering the white glove service. So if you got those opportunities, bring them to us. Let's talk about them and how we can get into those opportunities. All right. That was the very last question. I think we're gonna conclude the webinar today. Thank you all for participating. We really appreciate you. We appreciate you being a SkySwitch reseller. Eric, you got something last words?
No. I was just gonna say it's lunchtime here on the East Coast, so good time to call it a day for this webinar. But thank you, everybody. And again, please send your feedback. Let us know where we can improve, because we take your requests seriously and we do our best to implement them.
Yep. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.